And we're back. It turns out that the most dangerous thing about driving is not texting while driving, and it's not adjusting your radio while driving, or even being under the influence of a substance while driving. The real danger when driving is trying to find bugles to fit your fingers.
I can only find one.
Drew has big giant man hands, and I think they make bugles smaller than they used to.
But if you're thinking, bugles, is it 1990?
Yes, it is. We time travel.
I thought the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, if you're wondering, do bugles still taste like pure heaven?
Absolutely. Unquestioningly. Questionably. They do. Affirmative. We decided we needed a snack when we stopped for Drew's fifth pee break. Fourth pee break. And since bugles are mostly made up of air, why not? It's like free food, basically. The calories don't count. It's air. Air doesn't have calories.
Now, I did eat a Kind bar.
It had calories.
So...
Doesn't seem very kind to me.
My heart said thank you. So, if you're wondering, this is Laura. I'm Drew. If you don't know either one of us, we're friends and realtors.
Drew! What the hell? Stop it!
Excuse me!
Your mother might see this. That
It was
awful.
earlier. I yawned and then said excuse me, but I don't burp and then say excuse me.
Okay, that's obscene, and you should stop it, and we will never get clients now.
You'll get clients, but they'll be disgusted by me.
Burp some more.
So we are on our way back from Nashville. We were in Nashville for RE Bar Camp, which is a real estate conference on conference. It was put on by Brian Copeland and Village Real Estate and Tennessee Realtors and Jackdo Marketing.
Rudy. If you look up, if you can still pull up the app, and all of their sponsors were listed in the rooms. So you can shout out their sponsors.
We're going to shout out their sponsors. But while I'm looking this up, let's talk about our favorite sponsor.
Speaking of our sponsors,
it wasn't a sponsor yet.
But we're hoping one day. Hey, Boomtown. We love your chapstick. We love your product. We love your people. And your Twitter account. But also we really love your chapstick. So, you know, if you decide that what you really want to do is sponsor a realtor road trip, we're in. We're down. Let's have your people call. We don't actually have people. You can just call us directly. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll work it out.
There are a lot of sponsors, but
right now we're talking about either Florida or New Jersey for our next event, depending on if Tara can come back from Australia and if Sharon's home. We'll see.
Village Real Estate.
Now we're talking about bar camp sponsors for Nashville.
Jackdo Real Estate Marketing, Right Rug, Magnolia Title and Escrow, Tennessee Realtors, Summers and Associates from Alaska, FNB Mortgage, David Weekly
FNB,
Homes.
not R&B.
What?
I was saying R&B earlier. It's FNB.
FNB. Choice Home Warranty, Elite Insurance, Rudy Title and Escrow.
That Choice Home Warranty lady was super nice. She was. I enjoyed her.
Rudy Title and Escrow, Eastern, Middle, Tennessee Association of Realtors, Premier Home Inspections, and the Greater Nashville Realtors.
What a wonderful group of sponsors.
Yes.
And they put on a heck of an event.
Yes. And the highlight of the conference was the grilled cheesery food truck, where I got a buffalo chicken grilled cheese with cheesy tots.
I'm doing that next time.
And you got?
I got the pimento mac and cheese grilled cheese sandwich, which also, FYI, has bacon.
It was everything.
It was life.
So
it gave me life yesterday.
We left Nashville this morning. We currently just stopped outside of Bristol to get gas and to let me have my fourth pee break because my
bladder.
Yeah, my tiny bladder And then Gabe Rivas just said, are those bugles?
Bugles.
Yeah. As I said earlier, if you were like, is it 1990? Am I still a child? I don't know your age. But, yeah, they still make them.
Let me tell you, Gabe, it is not very easy to find the ones that fit on your fingers anymore.
So, bugles, if you want to sponsor us.
FYI. Look, they even have finger hats on their marketing.
Oh, the glare is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and if you're thinking,
Amen.
if you're Kim Smith, it is snowing here. It is snowing here currently as
Kim,
well.
don't tell me bad news like that, honey.
But,
we have a ways to go.
I think it was Shelly said that it's not sticking.
Well, I hope not, but, well, when I was packing for this trip, we were expected to get 5 to 8 inches. And right before I left, it was down to 1 to 3. And then while we were there, it was like, yeah, it might snow. So it's probably going to go back up and we're going to get a foot.
Back to what's important. If you're thinking to yourself, Gabe, bugles, do they really taste as good as I remember? Yeah.
Affirmative.
Just little drops of heaven that fit on your fingers.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to see you, so that is good news, says Kim Smith.
Kim Smith is a lovely human being.
Kim Smith, lovely human being. Nice to meet you.
Yep. Kim Smith is the very first Marine wife I ever met. She and her husband welcomed us into the Marine Corps family when we were on recruiting duty in Illinois 100 years ago. And our husbands are retiring approximately. Her husband just retired not long ago, and Jeff's getting ready to retire. And we're all ending up in the same place, kind of. So it's one of those full circle-y sort of things.
Cute.
Yeah. And I love her. And they invited us to church. Yeah. That's how I know all about that song you were playing, how they would play it, with the praise band.
Joy, Pain, Sunshine, Rain.
That one. Yeah. I don't know if our church would, but some church probably would. That's how I know, because we went to church with Kim. So that's all it takes is an invitation. If anybody else would like to come to church, let us know. Kim and I will save you a seat.
I just waved to Kim because she says, thank you, nice to meet you. And if you are just finding this video,
there's some more you should probably go back and catch up on.
Go back in Laura's page. Go over to my page. Look down my timeline.
It should be on my page too, because you tagged me.
Yes, I did.
Did you make it public?
I'm going to check that now.
Did you make mine public right now? I don't think you can do it while we're recording.
No.
We'll have to go back.
We will.
And then we'll put it on YouTube.
The YouTubes. And we're going to monetize it, and we're going to be YouTube famous, and then we're going to have all the money.
I don't think we're actually going to do a paywall.
Oh, I was completely kidding.
Yeah, I was just letting them know.
Also, we're not sponsored by anyone.
We're not.
I mean, if you want to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so far, no.
I love you too, Laura. Hope y'all have had fun. Oh, we have.
We have had the fun.
We started the day with a fight.
I don't know why you keep telling people that.
She physically punched me in the mouth.
That's not true, but Sean Carpenter physically punched me in the mouth yesterday.
He did.
Which is probably why he got hit in the face with a ping pong paddle, because karma.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring up that story.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Pretend like you did exactly what I casted out that line. And,
Mm-hmm.
Y'all be safe. Thank you.
We're
Laura
doing our very best.
Is driving, so.
But did you die?
Well, we still have like 5 hours left.
Yeah.
So, wah wah. I can't believe it's 5:30. Lord have mercy.
That's, you know what? It's really not. It's only 4:30. We're just doing time zone things.
But we're in real life now.
These trees are really scary looking. They look like Deathly Harry Potter.
Deathly Hollows?
Yeah.
Yes, Mama.
Just saying.
So we're here to talk about...
What are we going to talk about? We decided.
Podcasts.
The thing is, we're realtors. And there are lots of parts of being a realtor that's super important. But some of them are kind of tricky to discuss, especially in what we could maybe call mixed company. Because we have some friends and some clients and some other realtors, and lots of people might see this. So there are some things that you really can't talk about without potentially saying the wrong thing and breaking rules and stuff like that. So I guess the most important thing would be to just know that we take our careers really seriously, and therefore we are heavily invested in our careers. And we are politically active, and those are important things to know.
So as realtors, and if you are a client of one of us, just know that we are helping to
further legislation.
Thank you. We go to speak to our local legislators about bills and things that are coming forward
to benefit homeownership and private property rights.
Exactly. So a lot of the times no one hears about them because we get them before they get too far to the point where you would hear about them. So we're always fighting for you guys, if you know it or not.
Woohoo! Right? Yay, Team Realtor.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is
podcasts.
Let's talk about podcasts. Drew, have you ever done a podcast?
I have. Laura, have you ever done a podcast?
I have actually done a podcast.
Were we maybe on the same podcast?
I didn't hear you when I was doing mine.
I heard yours.
Pick your nose with the bugle. Here, you can have that one now. It didn't actually touch your nose, but I don't want to eat it.
So Laura and I were both guests on Lee Brown from North Carolina's podcast.
Hold on. We're going to swear again. Go ahead.
Called Crazy Shit and Real Estate.
It's a good podcast.
Laura had a really good episode.
So
Yours was crazy. Yours was crazy.
I know.
I did listen, by the way.
Like, I don't know, a year or so later, I was in that neighborhood and those people were having a yard sale because their house still hadn't, this was like 10 years ago when the market was terrible, and they had a big house that was relatively expensive. And yeah, they were having a yard sale selling some of their stuff, and it was really weird to like drive by and see the people again.
And then I had an episode that, if you want to hear it, go look at it. It's Crazy Shit in Real Estate with Lee Brown.
Yeah, you can go to the podcast, that little purple square on your iPhone.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're an Android, there's something else.
We think you can probably hear it too.
Yeah. No, you totally can. I believe in you. Google it.
So her tagline is, if you like real estate and you love crazy, this is the podcast for you. So probably all you HGTV junkies out there, because this is what she's showing you, is the stuff that HGTV doesn't. So
which is mostly
pretty
everything.
much everything.
Yep.
Jen Teskey, are you watching this? Tell the people it's not real. Jen was recently featured on HGTV on an episode of House Hunters last week, I think it was. Maybe it was Monday. I don't know. It was very recently. Yeah, it was Monday. I think it was April 2nd. She was on an episode with some really lovely people. Anyhow, so Lee's podcast kind of peels the layers back and she talks to different people around the country about stuff that's going on.
And North America, she's had some Canadians on. Oh, and Australia, she's had some Australians on.
All right. So it's an international podcast. She's kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one's really fun. Have you ever been on any others?
I have not.
Really? Do you have a podcast?
No. Have you heard my voice? No one wants to listen to that.
Oh, honey. It would be amazing. I've heard you sing show tunes.
It's true.
We should have a podcast where we sing show tunes and then... No, actually, let's just stick with this. I think we've got it. This is our format. But our friend Kara has a podcast. Kara McDonald from Loudon. She has a podcast.
Tell me about it.
I don't know a whole lot about it because I just found out about it yesterday.
I just met her for the first time yesterday.
But I did pull it up. I've got it subscribed or whatever. And I looked at some of the things, and she had some pretty interesting people. She had, is it Steve Passanelli? Is that right? Was one of her... Is it Steve? I don't know. Anyway, she had some really interesting, notable guests on there already so far. So I think we should petition to see if we can get on her podcast. Because really, after this, we're going to be super famous, and I don't even know if we're going to have time for a podcast. But for Kara, we would make time.
Once we get the Boomtown Chapstick sponsorship,
It'll be kind of all out the door at that point.
I mean,
probably you should book us now.
You're going to have to pay to subscribe to this.
Yeah. But now, right now, in the now time, in the before times.
You knew us before.
So, I think we're probably available for some. We could help you boost your ratings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's somebody else that has a podcast. Who has a podcast?
Well, another real estate podcast that I like to listen to is Real Estate Success Rocks with Patrick Lilly.
I have not heard that one.
Oh, it's really good. And he has been, like Lee Brown's been on it. Sasha Farmer from Charlottesville.
I
love Sasha. She's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
All the big people have been on it. And if you haven't listened to either Patrick Lilly's podcast or Lee Brown's, Patrick Lilly was on Lee Brown's podcast, and he has the best story. I'm not going to ruin it because I won't tell it right, but just go Crazy Shit in Real Estate, Patrick Lilly. It's really good.
I listened to it's Bill Risser's podcast, what's it called? Well, I can't look it up and tell you because we're recording on my phone and that's where I keep my podcast. But anyway, but his was really interesting. And I actually listened to Zach Shabbat on his. I've listened to him talk to several different people. He talked to the guy whose name I can't think of from now the company that I can't think of. That's really helpful.
Have you listened to Seth Price's?
So I love Seth Price's podcast, but I can't listen to it when I'm driving because Seth has the most beautiful, soothing voice.
Not only is he beautiful to look at,
he is a very handsome
voice.
man.
Oh.
But his voice is so calm and soothing that I would fall asleep at the wheel.
Right, great.
So it's not boring by any stretch.
Yeah,
it's just his voice.
Great. Voice, just too pure for my ears to hear.
He's a gift to this world.
Oh, amen.
Speaking of Seth Price, he has a book that you should all read. I'm not going to remember the name of the book.
Somewhere. I have it on my phone.
That's the problem. I have the electronic copy, so I can flip through it on my phone. The Road to Recognition.
Yeah.
And it's done essentially in alphabetical order. So he hits different topics alphabetically. So it's bite-sized, and you can just, you don't have to sit down and read the whole book to get something from it. You can spend 10 minutes in an elevator and get something really valuable. Like while you're waiting in carpool line or waiting to pick up a prescription, or you can knock a chapter out and learn something really valuable for your life or your business or whatever. So, I would totally recommend. And not to be biased, because we should probably give equal information, Lee Brown also has a book called Outrageous Authenticity, which I've read a couple of times, and I bought it originally electronically because I wanted to get it really fast. And then she did last year, for hurricane relief efforts, if people bought her book for the Realtor Relief Fund, if you bought her book, she donated 100% of the proceeds to the Realtor Relief Fund to help with hurricane efforts. So we both bought several books at that point. I gave away one for Christmas. Somebody got really lucky.
Yeah, I bought 5 and I gave them away to my friends.
It's a good book.
So thanks, Lee.
Thanks for all you do. So, anyway, amazing people. Awesome podcasts. What are some podcasts that you listen to that are not real estate related?
So most of the podcasts that I do listen to are actually not real estate related. I'll give you my top 3. Number 1 is in
any particular order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My number 1 favorite podcast of all time is Throwing Shade.
I did not like that one.
It's women's issues, gay issues.
I'm a woman. I have issues.
And it's done by Aaron Gibson and Brian Safi. They're 2 comedians, but they kind of make fun of the topics and treat them with much less respect than they deserve, as they say. But it's really funny and informative because a lot of the topics they're talking about are very depressing, and they can make them a little lighthearted, which can make them easier to swallow. Number 2 favorite podcast is Straight Talk with Ross Matthews, which I talked about in our last episode.
That was like 3 episodes ago.
Was it?
It was so long ago.
Ross Matthews is Ross the Intern from The Late Show, or if you watch Big Brother Celebrity season that just happened, he came in second. But he's had this podcast for like 4 or 5 years now. It's really good. And then number 3 right now is Stuff you missed in history class.
I want to see that one or hear that one.
They have like 3 or 4 episodes a week, and some of the episodes are a little dry. And I will warn you, Maura and I have had this conversation that the host's voice is a little.
They're no Seth Price.
No, and they're a little weird. Chris hates that they try to pronounce French words, and they do it horribly, but they try to add an accent, and it makes him mad every time. But the content is amazing, and I've learned some really cool stuff from it.
Like croissant?
Huh?
Croissant?
No, the name will be like Andrew Fristo, but they're like Andrew Fristo, like, and he's always like because he spoke French.
The Chris has done everything.
He speaks. He can still speak French. He can speak Japanese. He's a black belt in Aikido. He's
a rocket scientist.
He's a physicist.
Whatever.
He taught himself to knit and crochet in the last year. He's perfect.
He's kind of perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You scored big.
His one flaw? This decision. So, what are some podcasts that you listen to that are not real estate related?
I know, I want to listen to the history one. Honestly, no, that's not true. I was going to say all of the ones I listen to are real estate related, but I have one called Side Hustle School that is, to me, really, really interesting. And it basically, I mean, I just think the stories are interesting to hear what people have done with their lives and their time. But it talks about different people who were like just average, normal people who had jobs, but they had like a passion outside of it and turned it into a side hustle and eventually became like very successful at it and only do that now or whatever. But he talks about like what they had to, tells their story or talks to them or whatever, what they had to do to get where they are.
Now, this is off topic.
Okay.
But have you read the book?
I'll allow it.
Huh?
I'll allow it.
Have you read the book, You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life?
It's on my side table. I didn't get all the way through it. I'm
going
to be honest.
I'm not going to lie to you. If it would have been an actual physical book that I had to read, I never would have read it. But I listened to it while I was driving around last week. And it's actually really good. And there are some parts that like rolled my eyes at because it's, all this stuff. But there were some parts that I was just like, yes, it's good. So it's You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero, Sincero. And it's not real estate related at all. It's actually just like whatever you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. Trust and believe.
I like, as do quite a few friends of mine, Jenny Lawson.
I love her.
Big fan of Jenny Lawson. She speaks my language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not so big on, like, dead raccoons, but I did buy the coloring book, so I'm in.
Did you?
I did. Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
I've read 2 of her books. They're very good.
I think I have 2. Maybe I only have 1. I don't remember now. But yeah, I did. That's not real estate related at all.
No.
But yeah, I'm a big fan.
And can be very depressing.
I've got the Badass book, which I bought because I literally was walking past the book section at Target and it's bright yellow and so it bounced out and they had one of those little Target stickers that said it was so many % off. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it's yellow and it's on sale and it says ass, I'm gonna buy it. Total impulse buy. And then it turned out it really wasn't on sale, just the price that they had it marked at was discounted from like the MSRP or something. Anyways, total garbage. But I bought it. But then I couldn't get through it, and maybe I'll come back to it, I don't know. And then I have The Go-Giver that we were recently gifted.
So I bought it on Audible, and I'm in the middle of it because I couldn't sit and read it.
We should gift it to someone.
I totally would too.
Yeah. And then I have Holy Moses. So I've been reading The Daily Stoic, I think is the title of the book, The Daily Stoic, by Ryan Holiday. And I think he had a co-writer also, which was gifted to me by Kendall Young. And it is absolutely super interesting. It's the first thing I do in the day to start my day is I go out and I sit down and because it's literally almost like a calendar. It's like each day of the year has its own passage, and it goes back to like Marcus Aurelius and I was going to say Socrates, but that's not right. It's another
Socrates.
Socrates. Amen. And talks, it's like just basic common sense, but taking some of the emotion out of action, which is probably a good lesson for me. So that's been something that I've been reading every single day that I really, really enjoy. But it's also, it might be available in Audible, so it'd be kind of like a podcast.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about podcasts.
Yes.
The other thing is, I really was doing good at listening to podcasts, especially when I was taking a drive or something, and then I kind of fell out of the habit of it, and I was finding that I was having a hard time fitting it in because, like, I would drive somewhere, but it wouldn't be far enough to get into a podcast,
Yeah.
or I needed that time to return client calls or, whatever else. So I hadn't been listening to as many. Well, I finally crossed my mind. I have dead time while I shower in the morning.
Well, that's where I listen to them.
So in the morning when I'm getting ready, I put it on go while I'm in the shower and listen to one or two between taking a shower and getting dressed and everything. That's totally awesome use of time. And I feel smarter.
Yeah.
I just know things after that.
Have you read Start With Why?
We're not going to talk about that because I don't want to have to lie to anybody.
So I have never read it, but I'm in the middle of it. I have 3 hours and 6 minutes left. And then I'm also listening to the 12-week year.
Oh, that I've never even heard of. Lee gave me Start With Why, and I read the first 4 pages of it, but I was in the middle of the Badass book, so I put the Cynic book down to finish the Badass book first, and then I gave it to Jeff, and I'm like, here, why don't you read this while I'm finishing this other one? So by the time I realized he wasn't reading it, I was already in the middle of another book, because I started a different one, because I thought he was reading that one, and I'm going to get grief for that. But it's important to me.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure that I found my why.
Really? Maybe we should talk this through. Do you want to recline on the couch?
My suitcase is in the way.
Oh, sorry. You haven't found your why?
Well, I like helping people, but that's not really
That's not why. That just means you're a sucker.
Well, hallelujah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think maybe you should read the book.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of it.
There was a thing that Kara said. If Kara comes back on here, send us a message.
I think Kara just got on.
Did she really? That would be amazing.
What's Kara's last name?
McDonald.
No.
So at the end of the session yesterday, that the 4 of them were in, she was in it with Alyssa and Raziel and Mara. She talked about some exercise that you could do to organize. I don't think it was really find your why, but it was something else that you could do, like, to delegate. So it was like things that make you really happy to do and things that you would, like, you absolutely hate to do, and it was like quadrants or something maybe. But I want to look at that. She said the name of it, now I can't remember. But I think that'd be good. I don't think it was a personality test. I think it was just to help determine where your strengths were and what kind of stuff you should delegate, have somebody else do.
Well, Sasha Farmer kind of talks about that.
Oh yeah? What does she say?
Sasha Farmer paraphrase. And if y'all have not seen Sasha speak, if you're a realtor,
she was just in Fredericksburg.
no, she wasn't. I saw her. I saw her. I was there.
I missed her.
I was there. But if you're a realtor and she's speaking, go listen to her. She is awesome. She's so smart. But basically, she was a religious studies major from UVA. She graduated. She got a job not in that field, and then got into real estate and realized that she wasn't good at a lot of the things that you need to do to be a realtor. So she finally got like a part-time assistant, and then she ended up being like a listing agent, a buyer's agent, but she just filled the places where she lacked to build all of this stuff up. And she was like, I'm not good at everything. I realized that, and then I created a support team of people around me that can kind of like help fill those holes. Which is very smart.
Hello, Type A friends. Let go and let God.
Ooh.
Just, yeah.
I'm not good at that.
None of us are. That's why I'm offering this little tidbit of advice. So, yeah. You just, like, maybe you are really good at all the things, but there's only so many hours in a day. So let somebody else handle some of the minutia, right? And focus on the stuff that brings you the most joy. Maybe you love all of it. Pick the top 5 things you love and let somebody else do the other ones.
And then I've heard a lot of people speak, like Austin from Waco, Texas, or somewhere, Texas. He always had a goal, like, I want to sell 75 houses in a year, and then it was like 100, and then it was 125, and he kept hitting the goals, but he was working so much and just had so much stress that he ended up in the hospital, and they were like, if you don't take care of yourself, like, you're gonna die. So he had to then, like, create, like, a team around him, because he was like, I had 2 young daughters, and I wanted to be around for them to grow up. So
that's insane.
That we can't do everything is very important, because we have one body.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's a really important thing. And my friend Diane has a very similar story with a friend of hers. But at the end of the day, real estate is not a life or death situation. It is not.
Nope.
Things can wait. Sometimes they feel really urgent, but they are not always. Even if your house is burning down, there is nothing I can do about it. Don't call me, call the fire department. And we will deal with the aftermath. But it is not a life or death situation. So go to bed at night. And if you're a consumer, think about working hours and what is a reasonable, like 11 o'clock at night is not a good time to text your realtor and ask them if you can come measure for curtains. It's just not nice. It's not a good thing to do. And if you're a realtor, let your clients know that you have, limits. And don't answer texts at 11 o'clock at night, because if you answer them, then you're basically giving your clients permission to continue to contact you, and it's just a vicious cycle. So let's all treat each other well. There you go. Let's all treat each other well. That's a good one. Back to podcasts. Boy, are we
I
rabbit
cut
hole
you
on
off
that.
with Audible books, but what else do you listen to?
I don't know. Who else do we know that has a podcast? Kara has a podcast. Bill Rister has a podcast. I totally think we should do that one. Hey, Sean, can you talk to Bill? Let me see if we can get on his podcast before we're too famous for it. Just throwing it out there.
Yep.
Because they do a sportsy one.
Sports.
Probably golf or something.
Is that
I don't
the
know. It's something,
podcast
it's
you want
something
us to
sporty.
go on?
No.
Oh,
God.
I was like,
No. Really? Have we met?
well,
No.
I was confused because this would be me. It's sports. It's not life or death. If they lose, who cares?
He's rounding third base, and here he comes in for the touchdown. No.
That was wrong.
I know, that's why. I was given an example.
Or are you just wrong?
No, I really know better. I was just trying to, work with you.
Okay,
I didn't know if you
thank
knew
you.
better. Yeah. Beat you with a football bat.
That'd be fun.
Might be.
Hopefully the
You're so
Patriots
much
don't deflate that football bat.
That wasn't funny.
By the way, in my family's basketball NCAA bracket, I came in 4th.
There's only 4 of you.
No, there was 11.
4 of you.
And
Mom
Chris
and your
came
dad
in-
and you and your brother. That's it.
Chris came in 3rd. It was our family and my sister-in-law's family.
Combined. Got it. Yeah, it's a guessing game, sweetheart.
That's why we did so well.
Good times. Good times. Yeah. So, anyway. Seems like there was somebody else that I'm trying to think of.
I know.
Yeah, I don't remember. Okay. Well, I definitely think we should talk to Kara since we're in the same market. Because I think we would be amazing podcast people. Wouldn't we?
I think you would be really good at it.
I think you would be really
Your
good
voice
at
was amazing on the podcast, so please.
it. I sound like a chipmunk.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Ew.
I started and I was like, oh, it's Laura.
That's so weird. Yeah. Maybe, what's the opposite of helium? Is there an opposite of helium?
I don't know.
Call Chris.
Were you seeing Old Man River?
Nobody. You should call Chris. I'll bet he knows what it is.
He's like ketoing right now.
Text him.
He's like ketoing right now.
You don't know that. They might be on a break. They were on a break.
The Chris.
Mm-hmm. Ask him if there's an opposite to helium.
Is there an opposite to helium?
And I could just breathe it.
That makes me think of the helium-infused beer, which then
Was
makes
this really a thing?
Yeah, which then makes me think of the glitter beer I just saw on Facebook that I'm hoping is a thing.
That's really dumb.
Because have you seen, they have that liquor, I don't remember the name of it, but it has like
Goldschlager?
sparkles in it. No, it's like purple and red. I have it in my fridge. The red is very tasty. The purple tastes like purple medicine, and then there's like a peach one or something, which I don't
That
do.
sounds awful. I don't understand the helium beer because I thought you had to inhale the helium for it to impact you. So how is drinking it?
Girl, I am not a scientist, and I almost failed
Call
chemistry.
Chris.
So I texted him.
I took zoology instead of chemistry.
Ooh, what'd you learn about animals?
Lots of things. What I didn't learn was how to memorize the periodic table of elements. Because
Praise God. Who needs it?
I was not interested in that, and
No.
it turns out you just had to have a certain number of science credits. You didn't actually have to take chemistry.
Oh.
You just had to have a certain number of science credits. And I was like, let's play this game. What else you got?
Yeah.
So I took zoology.
Beautiful.
A girl in my class got bitten by a snake. It was not me.
Nope.
It certainly did not help my phobia.
Oh, yeah, because snakes are the devil.
A lot. Like, literally and figuratively.
They move around with no legs.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Awful. Exactly.
Tara, that's why we can't come to Australia. You guys have like 4 of the top 5 poisonous snakes and spiders.
And scorpions?
I'm not about that life.
No.
Yeah, I have a friend
And
who
crocodiles.
posted that was like, oh, this just bit me the other day, and it was a scorpion. No.
Dude, when we lived in Georgia, we had scorpions.
No.
In the house.
Gross. Burn it down.
It was terrible.
But it's like scorpions can survive a nuclear bomb.
No, that's cockroaches.
Cockroaches.
Cucaracha.
A cucaracha. A cucaracha.
Yep.
I think scorpions can too, though.
I don't think so. Good
Chris,
guess.
we need you.
We have all these science questions. Are we on 81 yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it turned into 81 right after Knoxville.
Right before we... Look at that. We're in like Christopher Walkenville.
With Phil?
No.
We have 4 people watching. 3 people. They got tired.
Haven't you ever seen the joke about walking in a winter wonderland?
No.
It's
You
a
wanna
picture of
tell it?
Christopher Walken in the snow. It's a
Oh.
meme.
We're only 4 hours away from home.
Good. We might get there. We might not because the weather is deteriorating and we are now at freezing. It is 32 degrees.
Girl, you're deteriorating.
It took you 5 minutes to say that word.
But someone liked it.
You saying that word?
Deteriorating.
You enunciate better than I do. You have
Do I?
Yeah, I think
I have
so.
like a Mumbletown USA over here.
Yeah, I've noticed lately I don't know if it's mumbly, but I think I speak in cursive more often now. Even when I'm sober. It's weird.
I mean, you were enunciating last night when you yelled at me for being too loud.
I did not yell at you for being too loud. I was pointing out that at least we were adults who went out and had a good time and came back to the hotel quietly and respectfully because other people were sleeping, unlike the jerks who had came in at 2:45 the previous morning who were hooting and hollering down the hallway
Hooting
and
and
woke us up.
hollering.
That's what you do in Nashville, hoot and holler.
Yeah, I mean, we did it.
Or talk above a whisper in my grandma's house. One or the other. It's hooting and hollering.
Hooting and hollering.
Anyway, I'm not real impressed with the road conditions. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they're not bad.
According to what?
They look fine and you're not slipping and sliding.
Oh, way to knock on wood when we don't have any available.
Are we done with this episode?
I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Did anybody ever send us any questions?
No, I looked.
You people. You just wait for us to entertain you. Alright. Well, then we'll wrap up this episode for now. And we'll come back later. If it's still light outside. Oh, it's after 6. Yeah, eventually we're going to have to stop making
No,
these
we'll just do it in the dark.
Going south in the dark. After hours.
Yes!
That's awesome. Alright.
We'll talk about dirty things. Like my mop.
That's excellent. That will be the next thing we do. Very good. Alright. Bye, guys.
Bye.
You normally don't have to push the button because normally we run out of signal. Now I have to figure out how to stop it.